Breaking news, just reaching us now. Tragedy at a Halloween haunted house in Aberdeen. The Nerdom with Mike and Tom.
Okay. Good 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 Monday to you, Tom. How are you?
I'm good. Is that a clown behind you?
I don't know,
No.
maybe. I would turn my head, but we both know what happens when my
Yeah.
camera tracks
Oop,
my
oop,
head
oop,
out of
oop.
I am a clown. I will admit that. I will admit that. Yeah, so how have you been the last week gearing up for Halloween?
just gearing up, and getting all the gears and ups and whatnot. But
Right on.
yeah, it seems a little off this year. I've had a bunch of stuff kind of stack up against me as far as the goings on. So I've kind of not been focused on Halloween, so it's
Yep.
kind of crept up on me. And oh yeah, tomorrow's Halloween, so there you go.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I have, as you know, I have kiddos, and we switch off every year. And this year, I don't have them. And I got I need to go right out and get some candy because I don't, I don't. We were gone for most of the prime time last year, so I'm not sure if any kiddos will come. I think some might. The older neighbors that are closer to the end of the neighborhood, they do their thing. But anyway, what is this all about anyway? What are we prattling on about here? Well, first off, I'm Mike, and this is my host, Tom, and we are the first, the last, in the Nerdom. And I'm gonna pop into our plugging here before we get going on the main event. With a little teaser down below with the awesome thumbnail master that Tom is. We want to wish everyone a happy Halloween. Of course, this is gonna go out. I hope you have fun with the festivities. But this is the first, the last, the Nerdom, and this is our weekly main show where we take apart a movie or some kind of media that folks get nerdy about. But we want to first off, we want to say thank you to all the 59 subscribers that choose to make us part of their entertainment choices. You don't have to, but you do, and we do sincerely appreciate it very much. So if you could like, comment, subscribe, we'd love it. We have an ever-growing back catalog, as I like to say, 155 plus videos. By the time this goes out, it'll be 156. Yeah, so we're about ready to get into the main event here.
Yep,
go ahead. Yeah, please take it.
yeah,
Take
we
it away.
this month we mostly focused on horror. We started with a funny B movie. Then we went for a more serious horror last week with Rosemary's Baby, and this week we're going for a found footage movie, House LLC, which is geared towards Halloween because it's
Yes.
about a haunted house gone wrong and those haunted houses spring up right around Halloween. But we focus on all things nerddom. So we've
Yes.
done a bunch of stuff on comic books, sci-fi movies, so anything and everything under the umbrella of nerddom. And if you go back through our back catalog and we've kind of overlooked something or haven't given it that much attention, and you want to see more of that, just let us know. Our comments are always open. We don't police it, so we don't
No.
like shut them down or anything. So whatever you want to say in the comments, either good or bad, we'll perk up our ears too and read with our eyes. But yeah, we're our main event today is House LLC,
Yes,
and
sir.
I've seen it once before. It's from what I read, it just premiered on streaming. I don't see where it was ever out in theaters. But it I think it made its big debut in Shudder. But I saw it on Tubi, and it's on several different. I think Crackle has it, and Plex, so it's all
Mm-hmm.
over. So pick and choose whichever free streaming service. And I think I saw where it's also on Amazon Prime. So if you have that, you can watch it without commercials.
Yeah, that's a matter of fact. That's where I ended up watching it at this time around. But as we like
Mhm.
to always say, we like to use our Just Watch. That's one of the ones that's
Mhm.
a staple that we like to use. That and IMDb, and I think there's probably a couple others. One, But in any case, yeah, Hell House. So this is so you had seen. Did you when you saw this? Did you see it the first time? Did you see this closer to when it came out, or or was it years later?
I think it was like maybe 2017 or 2018. So it was
Okay.
not soon after it came out. And actually, one of my coworkers, who was a big horror fan as well, suggested it to me to watch on streaming. Now, when I watched it, it was the I guess the streaming cut of it. Whereas I know when I watched it on Tubi, they had the director's cut, which added I think 8 more minutes and had a bunch of behind the scenes stuff like casting auditions. They also had a segment on them checking out the house
Right.
because it's actually a real haunted house that they used in Pennsylvania, and so it's actually a working haunted house. So if you're up in that area of Pennsylvania, you could actually go through that haunted house. I'm sure it's a bit different than the movie, but and you probably have better experience than the people in the movie had. But yeah, if you actually have been through that tour or gone through that haunted house, let us know in the comments. I'm kind of curious if anyone has out there in
Yeah.
our audience.
Absolutely, yeah. Same here. Yeah, it would be cool. Like those, I've been to a few of those in my time, and of
Mm-hmm.
course, this is in the genre of found footage.
Mm-hmm.
And for those and not in the know, found footage is a cinematic technique which there's like substantial or part of the work is presented if it was like a documentary or like a real life kind of. It apes real life as it goes. Like
Mm-hmm.
famous ones that come to mind are Blair Witch is one of my all time favorites. And we're going to get into whether this one was, whether you liked it or not, or whatever, that kind of thing. Spoiler, I did like it. I did think, of course, if this were, I probably would have got a little bit bigger kick out of it had I watched it in the theater. But nonetheless, it's you can't beat watching something in your own house anyway. But in any case, I I had to kind of, I didn't want to put this on with the kiddos because I wasn't gonna have them for Halloween, so they didn't. No, I don't think it's that bad, but it definitely creeps along for sure. What are your initial unless you wanted to save your critiques for a little bit later, but this found footage. What is your history with found footage in these type of films, and what's your taste like, dislike, that sort of thing? Do you tend to gravitate toward, because you were the horror aficionado that I index off of, so I of course I have history. I like Blair Witch 2, completely different film. It was a more regular traditional movie. I liked it. Soundtrack was cool, but aside from that, not many people did. But I think it did okay. But anyway, nonetheless, here this is the movie that we're talking about. House LLC came out in 2015. Take it away, Thomas. Tell us some thoughts.
Yeah, I tend to like found footage. It's a cool little thing. You kind of have to overlook certain things. Like I really enjoyed Blair Witch when it came out. That's the forefather. There's a few other movies that came before it that kind of helped pioneer a little bit of it. But the Blair Witch was the one that really put it in the forefront,
It
and
did.
everybody tried to ape it afterwards, which is kind of it's a cheap way to make a movie and make a cool movie. But yeah, there's also the idea that the person filming it, if you're in an actual situation where scary things happen, which you see on people with their phones and stuff. When scary stuff happens, a lot of times it gets jumbled around, so you don't actually see what's going on. Everybody in a found footage movie has steady hands and can get all the action in that shot, So that kind of beggars, believability. But obviously, with movies, you kind
Well,
of have to suspend your disbelief on some things. So
everybody's got to
yeah,
go first,
yeah.
or somebody's got to go first.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it the first time I watched it, and that's why I suggested we take a look at it for Halloween this year. Because yeah, it's it's doesn't have a really deep story, but it delivers on the scares.
Yeah,
Just
it
walking
does.
around, you get to with the camera person, you really get to see the layout of the location. The story is a group of friends who have own a business together, or at least I think the main guy Alex owns it, and everybody else works for him. Uh,
Right.
but uh, but they had a successful, maybe a successful haunted house franchise or the business in New York.
Right.
But this year they're trying it in outside New York in a small town, and which is kind of cheaper for them. And to save money, they stay in the old hotel. It's a hotel called the Abaddon Hotel, which if you're familiar biblically with the name Abaddon, that means the gates of hell. So
Yep.
you're staying at the gates of hell hotel. So
I
uh,
Yeah, I can't help it. Abaddon's Gate is a really good third version of the Expanse book series. So I
mhm.
kept having that go through my head. And of course, Abaddon in Hebrew means destruction, and of course in lore, biblical lore, Abaddon is the some kind of demon king of either the bottomless pit or of that sort of basically hell, basically
Mhm.
hell. Like I mean, I'm playing fast and loose there, but so it's like already in the title, they don't even beat around the bush.
Mhm.
They jump right to it, and of course, there is no real place called Abaddon. That's just fictional, but it's still
Right, right, right.
it like any good storytelling or campfire story, kind of ghost story. It kind of sets the tone
Mhm.
for these these words that we
Mhm.
use over time. But yeah,
Yep.
I know this would scare the hell out of my daughter if she were to watch it. She maybe next year we'll see. My son, I think it would actually scare my son. And my son's kind of,
Mhm.
he's getting up there. He's 14 and he's like, ooh, nothing phases me. But
Mhm.
I think in the right situation, if I set the right ambiance, maybe next year we're gonna
Mhm.
be. Of course, I would love to watch. They don't know anything about Blair Witch. I should probably set the
Mhm.
table for them and try to scare the crap out of them for that. But
Right.
it's hilarious. But yeah, no, this has this has all the hallmarks of a good. Of course, you kind of know what you're getting into with these kind of found footage things,
Mhm.
but and we've kind of there's been different experimentation, but this is a solid base hit
Mhm.
for that. I don't know. I'm not going to stack it up against Blair Witch because that's just nostalgia and it's not
Mhm.
fair in my eyes. But it
Right.
stacks up. It's solid. It is.
Mhm.
If you have any kind of a person in your life or friend or a partner or sibling or whatever or family member that it like does the jump scare or they're very sensitive to that,
Mhm.
that you would have a lot of fun just watching it with them, kind of seeing how they're. I don't know
Mhm.
about you, but like sometimes if it's a movie that I'm pretty familiar with, I kind of enjoy like kind of like look
Mhm.
over, especially my kiddos,
Yep.
seeing you kind of get. Well, of course, as a parent, you kind of gauge your level
Mhm.
of what they can tolerate or not. But
Yep.
yeah, I enjoy this. This was a good call, especially
Yeah.
on All Hallows Eve, as it were.
Yeah, this is definitely a Halloween movie. Like I said, they're setting up this haunted house, and it's like a month before Halloween when they're going to introduce this, and
Right.
so yeah, there's a lot of it's very informed as far as you could tell that the director has seen a lot of found footage movies, and then there's also there's a lot of videos on YouTube ARGs where they try to do sort of like almost found footage like things where they post it and they want people to maybe think it might be real, and and then also like creepypasta stuff
Mm-hmm.
where there's like a history. There's the found footage element of this movie, but also there's a group, a news station putting together a documentary on it as well. So they have interviews with talking heads, talking about like the history of the hotel and the history of the area. and that just gives you some backstory and fills in kind of information dumps that are kind of intriguing in and of themselves,
Right.
because you're trying to piece this together with what is currently going on through the found footage, and it's kind of nicely done. It starts off with the news footage of the tragedy that happened at the Hell House, but they only show you certain snippets of it and don't really tell you exactly what's going on. And it seems like the police are kind of maybe almost covering things up, and a lot of the public doesn't know what actually has happened. And the news team that's putting together the documentary are surprised because one of the people who disappeared during the this event that was involved, Sarah, she comes back to give them an interview, and she shows up out of nowhere and says she can do the interview, and so a lot of the stuff is told from her perspective, but also she brings in the found footage portion of it that no one knew about.
Right.
And the news team is kind of going through that found footage, and a lot of it's done with commentary as it's being filmed by Paul, who is mostly the camera guy that's filming it all. And Paul's sort of the trickster of the group. You know, everybody has to have a kind of a group trickster. And for a lot of the stuff that goes on during the house, Paul is blamed for, which he vehemently denied, but evidently he's done that in the past. So they weren't believing his his protestation, much to their detriment towards the end of the movie.
Yeah, I know I like a movie when I start yelling at the screen or start talking at the screen or TV, like either in my head or whatever. Like shut up, Paul. Like I really hated Paul for a minute, and you really hate him. Like he's kind of like he kind of gets on your nerves real quick, a little bit. But that's just a sign that the person who's playing the part is doing a good job, and they have it. They definitely drop you into. And I believe the timeline in the movie's timeline, it's 2008 or 9. I think it's 2008.
2009.
2009. Excuse me. Yeah, you're right. Yep, you're right. Yeah. And so it's like, all right. So let's see what happens. And everything. They did a very good job. I don't know how much it grossed. Of course, I will look it up here in a minute. But it must have done well enough to garner, there's quality behind it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For like,
it was. I don't think it was ever released in theaters, so it was. It debuted on streaming. So I guess it's whatever that streaming service paid the director, or the for the film. So that's unfortunate. I know. We here love physical media. And a lot of these streaming movies don't get a physical release, but the director did put out like the director's cut as a DVD. And I noticed that Amazon sells the DVD. Unfortunately, there's not a Blu-ray, which would have been nice to be able to get, but there is a DVD, so you can get physical media of it. And I believe that director's cut, they put that and all the extras from the DVD on I believe Amazon Prime, and also on Tubi where I saw it. Probably there on Plex and the other ones as well. But yeah, I would recommend watching the director's cut over just the regular cut, because it adds about eight extra minutes to it.
Damn it! All right. Well, this was already going to be a rewatch in my column anyway, because I do enjoy certain genres more than others, and unlike other horror movies or genres, like this is one that I'm pretty familiar with over the years, because who hasn't seen a few of these when they caught fire? Some terrible ones, but it's always good to see good quality ones.
And there's also a part 2 and a third sequel as well, that's out in streaming as well. I haven't seen 2 or 3. Okay. I heard that 2 wasn't as good, so I wasn't. That's why I didn't really seek it out. But after watching this again, I really want to go ahead and watch those 2. And from what I read, I think Hell House LLC Origins is getting made right now, which
Oh.
sounds like it's a prequel.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It draws you in just enough. And when you get to the end of the movie and you kind of think back to I actually scrubbed back through after I got
mhm.
done watching it to like look at a couple different things that I was like, wait, hold on a second. Like, let me catch up here mentally, because I'm a little bit slow. I know I have a very oddly shaped head, and it takes me a minute to get the point sometimes. But all joking
You
aside,
got a, as they say, smooth brain.
yeah, yeah, as the kids say, smooth brain person. Yeah, all joking aside, you go back and when you see the end, and we're not going to spoil it or anything like that, but you get to the end, you kind of get, there's some distance. I'll just say this: there's some distance between the interviewing crew and a couple of the main characters. I'll just put it that way. And you kind of like, you pick up on that, and you just kind of take it because this horrible tragedy occurred. But then there's another layer onto it, which really, they really sucker you in, and they do it in a good way. They do it in a good way, which I liked. I appreciated. They knew how to speak. They knew how to go to the strength of the film, and it was very well. It's kind of sad that they didn't, that it wasn't released in a theater, because this is a hell of a good
Yep.
movie to watch in
Yep.
theater.
Yep.
To be honest, it
Yeah.
hits all the check marks or the check boxes
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and there may have been like special screenings of it as well, but yeah, they didn't have like a wide release or anything um in the theaters. But yeah, it's a quality movie. You know, even if you just can only watch it on the streaming service, turn down the lights, throw this movie on, grab some popcorn. It's a great fun. Also, you were talking about the jump scares. There's quite a few of those in there, but
There is.
also there's stuff out that you could catch or not catch out of the corner of your eyes.
I
There's some
noticed that a little
tracking
bit.
shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one, and I may have missed a few of them.
That
But on my second watch, there's one where a cameraman is in the kitchen, and there's like a figure in a doorway that they put there, a little dummy there
Yep.
for scares.
Right.
But he tracks. He sees that, he tracks it, and then they're turning back around, and he crosses over, and there's someone standing there that's not the dummy. So, and I won't say who or what, but yeah, kind of keep an eye out for that.
There
That's the one I noticed.
and that's not really spoiling anything, because there's
Hmm.
quite a few of them. They get away with it, and that's
Hmm.
when I was going back earlier talking about. I actually had to scrub back through
Hmm.
different parts where I thought I saw something, but I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Then and there, so like, Nike, oh shit,
Hmm.
oh wow.
Yep. Yeah.
This is one where you really want to have a good backlight TV levels or whatever, like where you can
Oh
the
yeah. Yep.
TV's
Yep.
nice and bright, because otherwise, if it's too dark, you can lose a little bit. And I lost
Hmm.
a little bit. That's why I went back and I scrubbed through it. But in any case, it was on point. It's a damn good Halloween movie.
Hmm.
This is a great one because nobody has heard of this one, and
Hmm.
it's gonna make you look like a whiz, so to speak, because
Hmm.
you know about this one. But like, if you don't, the best part, and I know you probably are into this, but like when you have a really good movie, not necessarily horror per se, but like other genres, like when it's a really good movie, you kind of like want to see like what other your friends or your people that you like think about it. And this is one to keep in the back pocket, that will
Hmm.
scare the hell out of anybody who's
Yeah.
sensitive to like scary movies, so to speak. So
Hmm.
so if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
if you have a girlfriend, show her this movie and
There you
she won't let you go.
go. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's fun to watch with other people. Yeah, that's part of the fun of horror movies is, and I think that's one of the reasons why horror movies has such a rabid fan base. Because horror fans like to share. It's like once they find something, unlike, say punk fans that love punk music, they like to keep everybody away from their favorite band. They don't want it discovered. Horror fans want their stuff to be discovered. They want to say, hey, check this movie out. It's great. And yeah, the whole atmosphere of horror fans is one that I really enjoy. Yeah, I know we've kind of talked in the past about how toxic some fandoms are. Horror fans aren't like that.
No.
Yeah. Horror
I've
fans aren't like that. I haven't seen anything like that in the horror community.
It's funny, and I don't know. Well, we might do a longer form show on this, or maybe somebody will. But it is interesting because there isn't the animosity or the vindictiveness or the not even that. That's giving a loaded term. That there is. It doesn't seem like that exists in the genre for horror. I mean, there are fans I've never seen, and of course I'm newer to it, relatively from appreciating horror broadly. There doesn't seem to be that vitriol or that fandom, that team white or team black, so to speak, in the genre of horror films. It seems like it's pretty clear cut. Either you appreciate it or you don't. And there are all kinds. There's the slashers. There's the the psyche sphere ones that I love. That's my bag that I fucking. Pardon me. Excuse me. I love it. I freaking love it. Sorry. But in any case, we try to keep it family friendly, but we are adults and we do. Let's.
And I was thinking about it. I guess some of the controversy in quotes about some science, sci-fi superheroes or like with Star Wars and Marvel comic movies. There's a big push for having female centric characters in it, good or bad, whatever. Horror movies always had a strong female lead. There's the term final girl, which is the final girl that takes on the bad guy and wins the day. So
right on.
There's not like a imbalance, and if there is an imbalance, it's maybe more top heavy towards strong female characters as opposed to male characters within the horror genre.
Yeah, sorry, I had the kitty cat was just wanted some love, so she apparently she was checking out my drink. But anyway, to talk about Black Cat
and Black Cat for Halloween. Yeah,
at some point we're gonna recreate the shot of a animated movie that we covered a while ago. But she is this is Kiwi, and she says Happy Halloween and be safe out there and love your kitty cats. And,
she's
spay or neuter your pets.
Yeah, she's an indoor cat, right?
Yep. No, she actually I signed an agreement when I adopted her that saying that she would be an indoor cat 100% of the time. So, but anyway,
because also I was going to say, especially if you have a black cat, you don't want to let it out on Halloween because some ne'er-do-wells might do something bad with them. So yeah.
Yeah, no, actually, it's funny.
Idea.
It's funny you say that because, like, usually, so like I have this is a little dumb little slice of life that I'll share, but I have cat treats and I share with the dog and the cat, and if I shake the jar, she'll come running. So like if I'm looking for her, if I'm in the middle of the workday and I'm trying to track her down and make sure check on them like I check on the kiddos, I'll shake it, and she didn't come, and it was like mid afternoon or whatever, and like she was dead asleep in the corner like a cat tends to do, and I'm like, you scared the hell, you like a parent, like sound like a dad, like you scared the hell. Where the hell were you? Damn it! Like you can't because she is black and she's so small, she'll slip out the door. But anyway, speaking of black cats for Halloween, no, she's a sweetheart. But anyway. Yeah, going back to the topic at hand. Sorry, just got distracted by my kitty cat. But
was that squirrel? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. And much like we've I pointed out again and again, ratings. They lodged this as a 6.4 out of 10. Horror movies are notoriously low reviewed. Low review on IMDb. Usually about a point or two difference from what it really should be at.
Well, I'll go first. I'm not going to say this is an 8, okay?
Yep.
But it's damn close to an 8 for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see like with 7.4 to 8, I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we don't really do that, but this is kind of fun to talk about while we're on the
Yep.
topic. But how about you?
Yep.
Where would you fall if you were to give it a rating? And you don't have to, of course.
Yeah, 7.5's probably good. Yeah, and shout out to the writer director Stephen Cognetti. He
Yep.
did a great job. Also, if you do watch the director's cut, there's like about 35 minutes of behind the scenes, deleted scenes. I would suggest watching that as well if you're watching the director's cut, because there's a cool segment where they go through the initial walking through of the hotel
Okay.
to make sure, kind of blocking the scenes.
Hmm.
And you could see that in those early stages before the film started filming, he knew how his scenes were going to be played out and how he wanted it to be shot, and he was keeping in mind the how the building was going to be set out, because he knew it was going to be found footage, and there wasn't going to be any big cheats. You're going to walk with the guy with the camera, and you're going to be walking through that house. That's one of the cool things about this movie, is you really got to understand the architecture of the house, and you knew if they're walking down that hall, oh crap, they're going towards down, the downstairs area where it's going down to the basement. I know where that loops around.
Trigger warning.
And so yeah, you get that kind of oh crap, where are they going to run into kind of feeling. And I don't really get I don't usually get scared in movies. I've seen so many horror movies that I'm kind of desensitized by that. But I know it's a good horror movie when I get that kind of creep in the back of your spine. I think you may know what I'm talking about. It's just kind of like a little bit of a chill that you kind of feel when you see something creepy, or it's just kind of unsettles you a little bit. And there was several moments in that that kind of caught me off guard. There's a trio of clowns in the movie, clown dummies.
I don't like
won't...
clowns. I don't like clowns. But go
Yep,
on. Sorry.
yep. And I'm sure the director's well aware of people's fear of clowns. And there's one
Not
clown
afraid of them. I just don't like them.
There's one clown in particular that gets up to some shenanigans. That's all I'll say.
Repeats.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Yep.
That'll throw you off a little bit. And there's a real subtle hints. I mean, in a lesser hands, there's some story beats that get underplayed, whereas in another unskilled movie, it would kind of beat you over the head.
Right.
There's a subplot where Alex, who owns the company, there's a sense that they're kind of he's in financial straits, and this is maybe the last big push to maybe make money at it, because they're going outside New York. They're finding a cheaper location. They're staying at the hotel, and there's like a
right.
True. And there's a conversation. One of them later in the movie decides he's out. He doesn't want to be in it, and one of the friends takes him aside, and kind of there's a discussion of a secret that Alex has, and they don't really go into detail about it in that conversation that you overhear. But yeah, putting all the pieces together, you there's a story of financial woe that's there, but it's really understated, and I like that. It's you kind of have to be avidly watching it and piecing the pieces together. So you're kind of active participant in the movie. So you're kind of invested in those characters because you figured this out. It becomes your secret as well as you watch it. So that's kind of a fun little thing that he kind of interwoved it into the movie.
No, he did. There are so many things. This is one to watch probably a few times before you really get everything. And I definitely will probably I will do trick or treating. I got to clear out some leaves and crap for my front walkway. But aside from that, I debated about. I'm like, is there a way to put the TV up in front of the window? Like I got a big picture window, and I'm like, I was trying to think about way. Well, I probably won't do it, but I've got an older house, so it's got nice thick windowsills, so it could hold the TV no problem. But I was thinking about maybe you should do like maybe we should do something fun like that. But I definitely am going to build a fire tomorrow night and sit outside and enjoy some neighbors and if any kiddos come through, it's fun. It's fun. Like that's the I am quickly approaching the part where my kids are exiting the age where they care about Halloween. I was really giving it kind of broke my heart a little bit. My son is, he said he was 14, and I was like, hey, are you going to go trick-or-treating? And he's like, no. I was like, come on, man. Go, come on. Just go do it. And he's like, I don't know what I would do. I was like, well, I don't have you, but I'm sure you talk to your mom, like, make sure, like, she's pretty good with creativity and stuff, so. But it's that fun spirit, and movies rarely capture that. I'm not going to say it captures a fun spirit, but it's because this is the time of year. Every year, this movie, it's perfect. This is a quintessential perfect Halloween movie. I would argue. Like again, I don't know about what your thoughts are.
Yeah, and anybody that like Mike says, I have some memories, some vague memories of going to haunted houses. Right. My first one was my next door neighbor kind of rigged up their own kind of haunted house in their living room. I must have been like 8 or something, and went over there, and they I think the only thing I really remember of it is they had this bowl that said with a blanket over it, and they said, or a cloth over it, said, this bowl has brains in it, and you put your hand in it, and of course it's pasta. Pasta. So you're like but yeah, no, I've gone to some actual ones, but it's not really, haunted houses aren't really my thing, but I think they did a good job of kind of replicating great job of replicating what a haunted house is. So if you have some friends that go to haunted houses, get them together and watch this. Say if this year you didn't get to go to as many haunted houses as you wanted, pop this on and watch it with your friends. It's a really good, fun friend movie to watch. Also, really all the actors, all the actors are really good in it. There's not one that stood out as maybe bad. Everybody, no. there are the five main characters that put on the haunted house, but they hire 3 actors to one to be the tour guide, and there's one that there's a couple of them that's going to be down in the basement, and there's kind of a heavy set guy that's one of the actors, and there's a scene where he kind of reaches in and kind of pops out his eye a little bit. That's something that he actually does. So that's really him popping out his eye.
Yeah, no, my dad was I very much enjoyed my dad growing up, because he's, he'd tell us about, fake eyes and stuff. And like there's always some character that would, pop out their eye or whatever, something like that, like or lost a finger and said, oh my God, I lost, kind of like old school kind of thing. What let me ask you this. So you're not a really big haunted house guy in general? It's not really your forte, you said a little bit earlier?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, if someone invites me and one wants to go, I'm not gonna say, oh, but it's not like I'm scared of them or anything. No. But yeah, I mean, I don't like go through and try to find close haunted houses or anything.
Not your jam. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, no. Well, to be honest with you, the last time I went through a haunted maze or house or something was like, I don't know, circa before kids. I wouldn't date myself, but it was more than a decade. I didn't have kids, but I think I might have gone. I never went through with the kiddos, but of course you can't really do that with young ones. But the brain thing and all, it's just a fun time. I don't know about you, but like as I get older, I do appreciate and I do enjoy Halloween. The older I get, and I guess you enjoy different aspects of it, I suppose. As you kind of like as my kids are aging out of the whole thing, which I am a proponent of. If you're a teenager, as long as you're not a shithead, go dress up. And of course, in St. Louis, we have a very unique Halloween tradition where we're very hard-nosed Midwest about this, where you tell a joke when you go up to somebody's house. You tell a joke or a little tidbit, something funny before you are given candy. Or, of course, nobody's going to be hard about that, but you give a little bit. I think it's a St. Louis tradition, like just like ravioli or toasted ravioli or a thing. And I'm a transplant for the folks out there. Like I grew up in Wisconsin, but and of course, Thomas, you shared time down here in Halloween. And I know we're talking about the movie, but do you have any favorite memories of Halloween just in general? Because this is the time of year. I mean, most people are going to see this week going into November, and we'll have a special little conversation toward the end. But do you have any kind of things that like where you had any kind of fun memories when you were in St. Louis for Halloween when we worked together, or that era that before or after?
Yeah, I think I probably went to like a haunted house there. But to quote the industrial band Ministry in their song "Every Day is Halloween." So some people feel in their heart that every day is Halloween.
There are. I didn't quite understand it when I was probably about 10 years younger. About people really love Halloween. But as I get older, I understand. And also probably especially thanks to you, like appreciating horror as a genre in general. But I gotta say, we didn't spend too much time talking about the actors or actresses, but I agree with you. Like nobody phoned it in. Everybody did a really good job. And that because you get annoyed by their, like, especially Gore at Abrams. He's just so annoying. And Sarah, I was trying to find her on Sarah, Ryan Jennifer Jones. She's really good. Like they're like, I don't know, clear cut as you can, like just normal folks like that would be in the situation or something like that. They were just trying to do their thing. And I think it adds to the ambiance and the realism of what they're portraying. Yeah. Obviously found footage being aping real life, but it's really good.
And a lot of them, they don't go deep into their backgrounds or anything. They're more or less kind of archetypical, because Paul's sort of like the the prankster, the guy that doesn't take anything seriously. He's that guy. And Alex is the leader of the group that tries to put on the front that nothing phases him. Kind of happy-go-lucky. And then the two friends, Tony and Andrew, they look different, but they they kind of blend in together a little bit. They kind of get kind of lost. I think Andrew's is closer to Alex than Tony is. But they do have some certain scenes together. But and then the Sarah's the girlfriend of Alex. There's interesting dynamics between the characters, and they seem real. They're people that kind of remind you of maybe people in your life. You've met people like these people. They're very
shit, dude.
there's that scene, but there's a sense that these characters even though you don't know them.
Yeah, and I don't think we're gonna get struck on this, but if we do, we'll fight it. Not like we're making money from it anyway, but just kind of like letting it play in the background here while we chit chat. But the other thing that was really hard to do was to kind of gauge. Sometimes, like with the how things are laid out, you kind of get a bad or you don't get a really good impression of like the size and shape of the building. But this one, you are intimately aware of I'm not going to say every square corner, but you definitely know where the basement is. You definitely know where the exit is. You definitely know where the doors are. And it just adds to the whole scene. And this isn't really giving anything. This is just a clip that anybody could see on that. But yeah, the clowns or whatnot. And there's actually a scene like where they're talking about like where they're doing the staging, and they're putting the mannequins together and the costumes and whatnot. And they're like, there's a slight conversation on like, well, we need to use this mask because it does X, Y, Z or whatever, for whatnot. But yeah, I was going to say some other facts that I was able to find about it. Excuse me. Okay. So in the movie, in the movie's timeline, something very tragic occurs several years beforehand, which kind of sets the stage of like why it's no longer a business per se, but for haunted houses, and that plays into that's may or may not be a significant part of the lore of the movie, but it definitely it's gained a cult following, and I can see, and this is why we cover these things. Like we like to try to find hidden gems or cult classics or whatever you want to call it that has a nerddom around us. I can't wait to see how folks take our show to see because you don't quite know until you put it out in the world. Like if folks are going to watch it or not.
If it has legs or not. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Great way to put it. Yeah. But this is the film has been praised for how it portrays like a haunted mansion, haunted house type style, kind of thing. And I've been through some. I think the last one I went to was like I don't know, somewhere in the city. But it was like it was all right. But I don't really do jump scares or like I'm just like, oh, okay, all right. There are other reasons for that, but this one is something. This one is one to watch. I would say it's not as well known. And we try to look for these things in this gem, these gems like this. This is another score where Again, I'm not going to rate it up against Blair Witch because I have nostalgia and I love that. That's probably like my all-time favorite found footage movie because I remember that, and I remember that too because like the twigs, very simple. Like they had the marketing, was genius. But I remember like screwing around with like messing with my friends and like female friends and like making like finding some twigs and whatever in the yard and like kind of putting them like, oh my god, what is that? And they're like, shut up. It's always fun. Go see this. It's out wherever you're at, pretty much. I mean, we'll have the links here in the description. But I think we're kind of coming up to the end. But the other thing I like about this is that it's not drawn out and long. It's perfectly tailored to the time. I would say I'm missing out on the 8 minutes. I didn't see the director's cut, but the extra 8 minutes you're not going to feel at all. It's just going to enhance what you see for sure. I can say that factually, even though I haven't seen it per se.
Yeah, the regular cut's 123 minutes, and the director's cut hour and a half. So it's a definite thumbs up for me, and it's a great little movie. And again, there's 2 sequels, part 2, part 3, and Hell House Origins is in production right now. So and those are the 4 movies that the writer directors worked on. So that's his whole oeuvre. So depending
Steve
on
Cognetti.
how well, so depending on how,
excuse me.
Steve, so depending on how well our this one does, we may go ahead and revisit the sequels at one point as a follow up, maybe next year or later on. So give us a thumbs up, a like, and go ahead and subscribe if you're not subscribed, if you like the content. And then in comments, let us know if you've seen this movie, your thoughts on it. Or if you've been to haunted houses and want to just talk about haunted houses, we're we're here to talk.
Yeah, well, this is that time of year, and
Mm-hmm.
the other thing I was going to say is we are on the doorstep of November, and why this is kind of extra special for us between me and Tom is because we are coming up on this is our second Halloween, right? I believe, and I think we represented the thing better than in other years, but this is a passion thing that we do. We enjoy it. It helps us be better communicators and whatnot, and video editors, production, BS, all that. But all joking aside, we are on the doorstep of 2 years, and we what I'm getting to is that 2 years we do this thing, and again, we're going to be off for the middle 2 weeks of the week of Thanksgiving and the week before Thanksgiving. We're going to take off because family is everything, and we do enjoy this time of year. And I'm just shocked at how many we've done, and we're like I said, we're on the cusp of 2 years, and I keep talking about it, but I think that's awesome. And a shout out to anybody out there who has a dream or wants to talk about something. Do it. Don't wait for it next week or next year. Just start doing it. I've always wanted to do this, and Thomas has been a very great partner in what we've been doing. But find yourself somebody that challenge yourself a little bit and get out there and do it. And we're coming up on. I think this one will be a little bit shorter, but stay tuned because we have some very fun ideas and things that we're going to be doing toward the end of the year. I don't think we're going to make 100 subscribers, but that's okay. That's fine. We're not doing this for the clicks or the views. Like I said, I've said this to you privately, and I've said it publicly. I'm just happy that it's not just your mom watching, it's not just my mom watching, kind of joking around, but there's some pull there, and
your cat's watching as well, but yeah.
Is she up there? I don't know. I can't see her. But... right. Sorry. Yeah. I thought she was in the background. I wasn't paying attention.
No, there's that clown in the background, but yeah, no,
don't come in my house.
But yeah, much like Shia LaBeouf said, just do it. Just do it. Go out there, do it, because we're doing it. But yeah, like you were saying, we're right on the end here. Anything else?
Yeah, I was gonna say again, last plug, comment, like, subscribe. We thrive on new material. We would love to hear back from you. What you like, what you don't like, if there's something that you want us to cover. As always, Tom has our account out on Twitter. We will hear you. Probably most likely, I'm still in the process of redoing the website. That won't be slated until probably the first or second week of January. Until I get it done, I want to get a little bit more into it. But yeah, find us on YouTube. That's where our mainstay is at. You can probably find us on Twitter or Facebook. I don't think our page is active, but in any case, that's piss poor plugging, but that's okay. We're not professionals, but we have done this thing a little bit. But yeah, go see this. You will not be disappointed. If you are the kind of nerd that we are, you like to have finer points on your media. And this is no stranger. Again, it's a shame. It really is a shame that this isn't out on 4K, like a better version of it, as it were. But in any case, yeah, I've been Mike, and like Thomas said, we love to hear from you.
Yep, and look out for clowns.
Absolutely. Anything before we walk out the door?
Nope.
Maybe leave it ajar.
Jar.
The door's not locked. No, I'm kidding.
Let's get the FCUK out of here. Move. First the Last the Nerdom production. By Mike and Tom.
Mike and Tom.